Hi everybody, welcome back to Flintlock Operator. Today I'd like to take a little bit of a deviation from our normal content. You know, our normal content is flintlocks and 18th century stuff. I'd like to bring some of those concepts and ideas and incorporate them into a modern day context. And today I'd like to share with you a survival kit that I've been putting together that I can put on and carry on my person on an everyday basis. Now, of course, there's been much made out of survival kits over the past 15 or 20 years. Man, when I was in my early teens, back 20 years ago, whew, that was a long time ago, back 20 years ago, man, I was watching Survivor Man, Man vs. Wild, the whole slew of shows. And since then, obviously, I've kept up with a lot of other survival and outdoor YouTubers. So that theme of wanting to find the perfect survival kit is just always, it's always been in the back of my mind. And from what I understand, I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same way with y'all as well. So what are we talking about? I'm not talking about a survival kit that you keep in a belt pouch. What I'm talking about is a survival kit that we can keep on our person and not in a pocket or anything. What I've done is I've incorporated pieces of survival gear into different parts of what I would normally already carry around every day, every time I step outside of the house. So today I'd like to share with you that kit. Today I'd like to show you my personal everyday survival kit. I'd like to add one disclaimer before we get into the kit. I am not advocating that anybody has to carry this around. I'm not suggesting that anybody carry this around. You should carry the gear that you feel comfortable with and that is easy for you to carry. I don't expect anybody to completely emulate what I have. I'm just sharing some knowledge and experience and some products that might be able to help y'all. And is it stupid that I carry around this much survival gear on me at all times? You know what, maybe it is. Maybe it is stupid, but I will tell you this. Back about 12 years ago, I was actually in somewhat of a survival situation. And if I'd even had a couple of these pieces of gear, it would have made the whole situation much more comfortable. And we probably would have gotten rescued far, far sooner than we were. So I'm not going to tell that story today, but we'll save that for another video. Anyways, I just want to give that disclaimer. I'm not saying that y'all have to carry this around. This is just what I carry around, and it might be stupid, it might not. But you know what? I am prepared as best as I can, and every day I'm trying to better myself. And carrying around these small pieces of gear in my mind makes me more prepared. Let's get into it, guys. We're going to go ahead and start with my keychain. Now, there's a lot of keychain based kits they're really big, they're really bulky, and if people want to carry those around, that's great, that's fantastic. I prefer to carry around something that's a lot smaller and a lot more minimalistic. And although I've got quite a few individual items on this keyring, bulk-wise, they don't take up a lot of room. So besides just the normal slew, keys, Kroger shopper card, key fobs to getting into super secret places, let's see, what do we have? First we have flashlight by Nightcore. This is the Tiny 2. I just got this for Christmas, so I've only been carrying it around for a month now. But so far it's been real handy. And I'm pretty rough on things in my pockets and on gear in general. So far it's held up fairly decently. It's got a couple wear spots on it just for being in my pocket. It's got different settings on it. You can actually lock the light out so it won't go off in your pocket, but it's very easy to unlock it so you can access the several different levels of light intensity that this has the ability to output. Maximum output is around 500 lumens. Lowest is just a couple lumens. It's also rechargeable, so this gives me a great amount of confidence that anywhere I go I can have a flashlight with me if I don't have my big, more tactical style flashlight on me at the time. So that's the flashlight. The second thing I'd like to show you on this keyring is my fire starter. I just have a little fire starter kit, just a striker and a ferro rod from Wazoo Survival, and just on a bead keychain attached to my main fob. And you know what? It's really small, but it works. It's not the only thing that I would want to have with me in an emergency situation, but this is way better than nothing. And we'll go over in just a few minutes how I start some of the tinder. And speaking of the tinder, I have the tinder right here. This is a Wazoo Survival card, and let me pull the full-size one out. This is what they look like. So they've got instructions on the back of how to use them. And when I first saw them online, I was like, okay, well, how good can this be? And I got them in the mail. And the first thing I did with them is I went on the back porch, turned off all the lights on the back porch, and made a fire in the dark. And it took me about, I don't know, less than a minute to do. You just scrape the edge off and strike it with the ferro rod, and it bursts right into flames. The upside is that since it's in a card form, it's very small and very easy to carry. The downside is that it burns really, really quickly. However, I have 2 pieces of a card on my person, as well as an entire fire card in my wallet, which we'll get to in a little bit. So those are the 3 things that I keep on my keychain. So we have light and we have fire, and I can make fire with this in probably just about any condition. So that's very important, is being able to make fire no matter what condition you find yourself in. So this will work even whenever it's soaking wet, even if my flashlight and key fob are all water soaked. The next core piece of kit is the wallet. So we'll go ahead and pull that out. Now this is not an off-the-shelf wallet. I made this wallet custom to be able to fit survival components. So what we have is just a leather body. It is a bifold. It's held together by a strap of elastic, and I've got like $7 in there right now. We've got cards on the outside. So we'll dig into the outside first with the cards. Let me show you guys what's happening here. So the cards are actually in there really well, just held in by friction, but just in case, it's got the elastic band to go over it. Oh, first, we have a more full-size ferro rod on the outside. So that's already 2 means of starting fire on my person. All right, now we're into the guts of it. I actually started a fire for my parents last week, so this is what's left of the fire card that I used to start that fire. But normally I would have a full-size fire card, because that fire card is the same size as a credit or debit card, and it slips in there nice and easy. Now the main survival component I have on the outside of my wallet, I have a Grimm Workshops survival card. This is the Zach Fowler one. And what these are is a thin piece of steel that has different survival components cut out of it. So this one's got fish hooks, trap triggers, weights or fishing lures on it. It's got a small knife, a tick remover, and a small fishing spear. And you know, when I first started to see that these were available, I wondered if, well, how gimmicky is this? But I haven't used this one because I just got it for Christmas. But man, you can go find a lot of videos here on YouTube of people using these and really getting them to work. So this gives me a lot of capability in one small credit card size package. The backing is also magnetic, so you can pull these off, stick them back on there, and reuse them for a second time. What's on the back is a piece of sandpaper. This can be used for sharpening things, tool maintenance, just anything that you would need sandpaper for. So really, we've got a lot of multifunctionality here in this one little piece of kit. Now we're on to the inside. So as you can see, we've got one pocket here, and as we unfold it, we have a pocket here and a pocket here. Now we could obviously use these pockets for keeping more money or other credit cards in. What I've done is I keep some more survival supplies in here. Shocker, right? All right, so here we have 8 water purification tablets. I think that's all that's in that one. So we have water purification. And on this side, we have, I think there's 4 or 5 quart-sized plastic bags. Now what I can do with these is I can transport water. I can boil water in these. So these are just an extra little container. They fold up nice and small, and they're real easy to carry around. No survival kit would be complete without your neighborhood library card. And as I said, the last thing in there is that striker for the big ferro rod. And just to prove that it does work, I'm gonna scrape the coating off real quick. So even with that little bitty striker, it throws pretty adequate sparks. Get out of here, smoke. All right, give me a minute while I put my wallet back together. There's one more thing that I would be carrying around in my wallet kit that I normally don't carry around, but I would if I was going to be going on a camping trip, a backpacking trip, or a wilderness trip, and that is the SOL signal mirror. It's very small, it's very compact, but it is about 3/16 of an inch thick, and that's just too bulky for what I need to carry around on a daily basis. So I'll have this in my kit if I'm going out into the woods. The third major component of my personal EDC kit is my neck knife. I've been carrying around neck knives for probably since I was about 12 or 13 years old, so I've been wearing them a long time. And if you're going to wear a neck knife, make sure that that knife is going to stay in until you want it to stay in. This knife has a little tab that you have to push in to get it out. Of course, you can yank it out, but you've got to yank pretty hard. I've been carrying around this particular knife for years, and I've never had it fall out of the sheath, and that includes running, hiking, climbing, and doing all sorts of stuff. Let's look at the knife real quick. This is the Cold Steel Burden Game, and this is by no means the best knife in the world. I like this knife because it's small, handy, lightweight, it sharpens easily, and I haven't found a neck knife that I like that fits my hand better than this and does what I need it to do. It sharpens up very easily. It's made out of AUS 8 steel, so it's kind of a crummy quality steel, but it sharpens easily, and it does take a very good edge. Right now it is razor sharp because I just sharpened it last night. I really like having the ring on there, so if I need to do something else and then pop it into my hand, or have it here like this, then I can be occupied and just pop it into my hand. Now, a few years ago, I had a knife making buddy of mine make me a better quality version out of this in 52-100 steel, and that was the best I could have asked for, but unfortunately, I lost it. I carry it around with me all the time, and I have no idea how I lost it. It probably just fell off my neck when I was in the woods somewhere. The knot came untied, I don't know, but I lost it, and it's rather heartbreaking. But hopefully I'll get around to making a new knife in 52-100, or even a better steel like Magna Cut or something. But this knife works well for right now, and I intend on replacing it, but I really like its general profile, and it is very functional for me. Now, much like the scabbard of the legendary sword Excalibur, the sheath here for this knife is where all the magic is. So what we have here is a Wazoo Survival sharpening pendant. On the back of that, I have another partial Wazoo Survival fire starting card. And of course, I have the ubiquitous Tiny Tim fire starter on there. So now on every single piece of my kit, I have some way of starting a fire. So again, we have sharpening and fire starting, but here's where the real magic is. Underneath this thin wrap of number 12 bank line is several tens of yards of 10-pound braided fishing line. I don't know how many yards there is, probably, I don't know, 15 or 20 yards. So I've got a good amount of fishing line right there. And even underneath the fishing line, I have 6 fish hooks and 2 sewing needles, front and back, have the tools underneath it. So in this system, we have a knife, we have a way to sharpen it, we have surefire, we have cordage, we have fishing line, we have needles, and we have more fishing hooks. So this is a lot in a very small package. And this is kind of a system that I came up with on my own. I'm not going to say I'm the one who invented it, but this is something that I've been doing with a lot of my survival kits that I carry around with me, and the way I've been putting them together for some time now. So this is just how I put together my own little neck knife setup. I hope it's given you some ideas. All right, so that you don't have to take my word for it, I'd like to show you that the combination of the Wazoo Survival Gear fire card and these little micro ferro rods and strikers are not gimmicks. Let me show you what you can do with these. So this ground is actually wet. Let's kind of rough that up a little bit. All right, let's see what we can do. There's barely any shavings there. Let's get this started. Yep. First strike. Look at that. Didn't take hardly anything at all. Now, I did say that these burn very fast, and these do burn very fast, so you got to work quick. That is the one downside of these. They're very handy, they're very convenient, they catch fire really easily, but they burn up really fast. All right, now to prove to you that you can do this with multiple things, here's my favorite fire starter, fat wood. Do the same thing, scrape some shavings off. This is a ceramic striker, so pretty sharp. All right, we've got some nice fuzz and dust there. It's the same thing. Wow, first strike, look at that. No gimmicks here. You can start a fire with that. You can get a big fire going with a piece like that, even if everything's cold and wet. Now there's one more supplemental piece of gear as an extra little bonus, and that's my Titan survival bracelet. Survival bracelets aren't nearly in style as they were back 10, 15 years ago. I don't even wear this one around as much, which is why I didn't include it in the main list. But this is something that I would wear out on some sort of, again, a camping or a wilderness expedition trip. Wilderness expedition, like I'm some sort of grand explorer. Anyways, if I was going camping or backpacking, I would wear something like this. But the thing that sets this apart from other types of paracord is it's got fire, it's got a jute fire starter in it, it's got a thin brass snare wire, and it has a fishing line in it. So there's about 12 to 15 feet of cordage in here, and it obviously has the usual strands of internal paracord as well. It's a lot stiffer than normal paracord, a little bit heavier, but all of this together, I think, gives me a lot of really small tools that together and built up can give me a much better chance of surviving some sort of a survival situation. Or even just having tools on hand. I can't tell you how many times that someone has said, hey, do you have, jokingly asked me, hey, do you have needle and thread on you? And I'm able to just, oh yeah, here you go, here's needle and thread, sew up whatever they need to have fixed. And I'm not joking about that. I've actually done that before. Obviously, we're all eager to get up. Oh, where's a blade? Where's a knife? Ooh, and we all have our knives handy. You know, what I wanted to do is put together this kit that can help us to have a compact kit. It's not big, it's not bulky. We can incorporate it into our everyday carry items. And I really hope that this was informative. I hope this gave you some ideas and maybe a little bit of inspiration. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you on down the trail in the next video.